Hey folks, I'm going to show you how to plan for or think through a complex relationship paragraph. Any prompt that has to do with complex relationships. So you want to start always with your idea. After you've done the reading, after you've looked closely at the reading with the questions from your prompt, you want your thesis written out in 2 parts. And it's going to be separated by like but, yet, or however. Some kind of conflict that happens here in the middle. And your thesis should be split between the rewards or the reward and the struggle of the relationship. So the 2 parts of your thesis should be either both the reward and the struggle of the thesis and of that relationship. So then you're going to need your first piece of evidence, evidence 1, which is going to be, you might look at symbols that represent the reward. You might think about how the author is talking about this person, or how the speaker is talking about this person they have a relationship, and analyze the tone that might shift later into the struggle or any other devices that you see. But we've been focusing a lot on tone and symbols. So you'll do that for the reward and then plan another one, a second piece of evidence to prove the reward of the relationship. Same thing for both of these. You'll explain how it connects back to the thesis. So in simple terms, you've got 2 pieces of evidence, 2 sentences to set them up, 2 sentences to explain back, if you're going to go with this formulaic process. But just make sure you have these pieces. It doesn't necessarily have to be 4 sentences. Then you're going to transition somewhere in your paragraph. If you're thinking about it over time, you might say later. You might say yet. You might say except, because you're making an exception to the reward as you bring up the struggle. But at some point, you're going to transition from reward to the struggle, maybe with one of these words. And then you're going to do the same thing you did for the reward, but now for the struggle. Evidence 1, evidence 2, connect with your explanation. Okay? So some point you need to transition from talking about the reward into the struggle, which you mentioned in your thesis here. On this side would be the reward, but the struggle. And then you're going to pull all this together in the message by the end. Restate, rephrase that thesis, and pull together what your conclusion would be, meaning what was the message based on the complications of the relationship. Ooh, that's a little sloppy. But what was the message based on complications? You could start this sentence after you've rephrased your thesis with, while the relationship is complicated, what did it teach us? What did it teach the reader? ... Then you would put your message. Okay, so that's how you can think about the 2 parts. So then you would structure, you'd have the first part of your paragraph about the reward, the second half of your paragraph about the struggle, all leading up to the, let me highlight this, the message. And you're on your way with good syntax and good structure and interesting sentences. You're on your way to a 5 or a 6. Let me know if you have any questions in class.